What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So this comparison, better late than never. I should have done this months and months ago, I understand, but I just recently got the Galaxy A50 and I figured I might as well start reviewing it against all the other older phones that came out before it. And the Galaxy S10 is actually technically newer than this phone, but I haven't reviewed these yet, and there's really nothing too crazy going on right now, so I figured I might as well get my hands on it and review it right now. So the Galaxy A50 came out in February of 2019. The Galaxy S10 came out also in February. So I think these two were released or announced at the same time at least. I honestly don't remember, but I remember hearing a lot about the Galaxy A50, and I didn't really follow up with this series too much. I followed up with the Note and S series, but I figured I might as well take it back. Oh my god, dude, I've dropped my phone so many times. And the size in the hands, definitely the Galaxy A50 is a little bit bigger, but for a phone that costs about like less than $300, this is pretty impressive. And at first I didn't know what to expect. I didn't think it was going to be as great as it was. And it's not an amazing phone. It's not like a crazy flagship phone, but for the price, it's a pretty cool phone in my opinion. So for about $300, a little bit less, look at the comparison here. You're getting a bigger screen than the Galaxy S10. You're still maintaining that headphone jack and the USB Type-C port on the bottom. You do have a triple camera setup, kind of, but it's kind of like a triple camera setup light. You can't even shoot 4K videos on the A50, which is pretty sad. I didn't even know that until I did that last video. And for the most part, everything, it's a phone at the end of the day, but it's pretty impressive still. In the hand, the Galaxy S10 does feel more premium and also feels a little bit heavier, I think. That's totally not the case because the Galaxy A50 is heavier, but because it's a smaller package, it just feels like it's more built, and it feels like more weight is in one hand. I almost dropped it again. Versus the A50, it's a little bit spread out. And with both these phones, they are very top heavy. I've slipped these phones out of my hands so many times, it's so obnoxious. In terms of the screens, okay, you have a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display on the Galaxy S10. This display is 1440p, which is really, really nice. The Galaxy A50 has a 6.4-inch 1080p panel. This one is Super AMOLED, and this one is also pretty good for the price, but obviously between these two, the Galaxy S10 has a better display. Now on the side, some people actually might like this. The Galaxy A50 has a flat edge design on the side, so there's no edge panel or edge side as you have on the Galaxy S10. Now I actually do like the Galaxy A50's design. I never liked the S10s or even any S phone edge display. That just gets in the way so many times. I've accidentally clicked so many things, and Samsung really needs to revert this or change it up a little bit or make so taps don't get acknowledged all the time. I'm always accidentally tapping things. If I'm on the side sometimes, 9 times out of 10 I'm tapping things that I don't want to tap. So that pretty much covers that up in terms of the outside. Nothing too crazy. The S10 definitely is built way better. You can definitely tell. But in terms of the way they look, I'm pretty surprised about the A50. In terms of software support, I don't know where this lies at because I'm not too sure with the A series, what type of software they're going to get and everything, because they're definitely a budget phone. I don't know if they're going to maintain the same, software support and lifecycle as the S series. But if I had to guess, I would assume so. So both these, because they were released at the same time, they should be getting the same amounts of software updates. But if that was totally wrong, then the S10 will definitely outbeat the A50, but I'm not too sure how these two phones lie in my opinion. So in terms of software support, I would probably give the edge to the S10 because it is the flagship phone. It is the more expensive one. But the A50, I think it'll still hold its own. There might be a development community behind it. There might be a root or a customer offer, who knows. But in stock software support, I would probably say the S10 is probably going to outlast the Galaxy A50 in stock software support. One thing I forgot to mention as well, the Galaxy A50 does not have any IP certification, where the Galaxy S10 does. It has IP68 dust and water resistance, which is pretty nice. That's one cool thing if you're going about and you're next to a pool, or you're an athletic person, or you're even in the kitchen eating a lot of food like I am, and you spill some soda on your phone. Most probably the S10 will be able to handle that better than the A50. So that pretty much covers it up in terms of the outside and even the software. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a speed comparison. Now this is going to be kind of weird because I was trying to get Real Racing 3 installed on here, but I can't, and it's so obnoxious. But I'll go ahead and tell you the specs of both these phones. I'll go ahead and close out of all these apps. The Galaxy S10 has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset, an octa-core CPU, and 8 GB of RAM on both the models. Both these models have microSD card slots. I don't know why that just opened. The Galaxy A50 on the other hand has an Exynos 9610 chipset. This is kind of confusing. So there's 4 models of the Galaxy A50. There's 2 4GB models and 2 6GB models. This one is the 4GB model of RAM. So technically speaking, the S10 has twice the amount of RAM as the base model of the Galaxy A50 and 2GB of RAM more than the other models. So with that being said, let's go and do a little bit of a speed comparison. Nothing too crazy. Let's go and see which one is the faster one. If I had to put my money on it, I would probably say the Galaxy S10, but I've been wrong before, so let's go and see which one is faster. And as you guys saw, all the apps are cleared out in the background. Let's go ahead and start loading up these things. Let's do Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. Now hopefully I don't get any more random pop-ups because I had those in the last video and they were so obnoxious. And as you saw, the S10 did beat the A50, but not by much. I'm pretty surprised. Let's get into some gameplay. And as you can see, kind of, the same thing, nothing too crazy going on. Actually, it hasn't glitched up on either of these devices yet that I saw, so that's pretty impressive. Let's do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, it did stutter up a little bit on the A50. On the S10, it was a pretty smooth experience all around, but the A50 was just a little bit of stuttering going on, so nothing too crazy. Both these phones experience that same problem where, as certain apps are cut off from the sides, the A50 has a lot more room cut off, so even though the A50 has a bigger screen, look how much you're missing out on the A50 versus the S10. The S10 and A50 have almost the same size of playing screen, which is pretty insane. So it's like you're paying for a bigger screen, but you're really not even getting it in some apps. Let's do Temple Run. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see on both of them, I will have to restart. And even to restart it, you saw that there was a little bit of a delay on the A50. In terms of the gameplay, I mean, you can see it's going to be exactly the same. This is not that intensive of a game. I'd be more surprised if one of these did stutter than didn't. Let's do Thank You. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, again, the S10 got into it faster. Getting to some gameplay, they both are pretty much the same. There's not one that's stuttering that much or anything, so that's good. It's a pretty basic game at the end of the day anyway. Let's do Instagram. 3, 2, 1. And both were pretty fast. I honestly wasn't looking. I didn't know which one was faster. Let's do Twitter. 3, 2, 1. And again, S10 was faster there. Let's do Play Store. 3, 2, 1. And again, S10 was faster. Let's do Camera. 3, 2, 1. And again, as you saw, the A50 was so much slower. The A50's camera app to boot into it is so slow for some reason. Let's just 3, 2, 1. Again, S10 is faster. It's almost like instantaneous, as I've said before, on the S10. Let's do Facebook. 3, 2, 1. They were almost the same. So between those ones, that was just a quick little speed comparison. Nothing too crazy, but what I will tell you is the A50, in my opinion, is a little bit slower than the S10, but I was expecting the A50 to be a lot slower because of the price of this phone. This one is still selling for like $899. This one was selling for I don't even remember, $299. It's even cheaper on Amazon. So between these two, S10 better, faster, stronger, but the A50 definitely still holds its own in my opinion. All right, so at least for the price for that matter. Now hitting on the camera, both phones have triple camera setups. The Galaxy S10 has two 12 megapixel sensors and a 16 megapixel ultra wide sensor. You do have a 12 megapixel telephoto lens as well, so 3 camera sensors here, but 3 camera sensors on the A50 as well. Now you have a 25 megapixel wide angle lens, an 8 megapixel ultra wide sensor, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. I don't know what that means. I think it's to get more accuracy in the photos, something, I don't know. And in terms of the quality, what I can tell you is that the quality for the A50 isn't even that bad. It's pretty good. It gets the job done for the most part. One thing that I have noticed is that for some reason the camera app is so glitchy. When I was doing something, it would just glitch up so much. It's not as smooth of an experience in my opinion as the S10s. But one thing I want to also say is that the A50 for some reason cannot shoot 4K videos, which is pretty sad. I mean, you can only do 1080p, and it's funny because the same resolution for the front is the same resolution as the rear. So as you can see, 1080p you can do, I guess, full if you want to do that, but you can also do 1440p if you want to, but max pretty much is 1080p. Whereas on the Galaxy S10, as you can see, not only do the photos look much clearer, much better, but you can see, in my opinion, it's much more intuitive. The UI is way less glitchy. It kind of glitched up a little bit earlier. But as you can see, scrolling from one thing to the other, and dude, this one even is glitching up a little bit. Scrolling from one thing to the other is not as glitchy as it was on the A50. But the cool thing is you do have the option to shoot 4K videos on the Galaxy S10, which is really, really nice. So on the front, you have a 10 megapixel sensor here on the S10 and a 25 megapixel sensor on the A50. In my opinion, again, the S10's is better. Now hitting on the battery life for both these phones, the Galaxy S10 has a 3400 mAh battery, the Galaxy A50 has a 4000 mAh battery, and in my opinion, I do believe the Galaxy A50 has a superior battery life. It doesn't have a 1440p display, it's not as powerful as the S10, but you still have a bigger battery on it, so in my opinion, the A50 will have the better battery life in between both of these phones. So to kind of sum up this comparison, dude, obviously if you had to choose one, the A50, isn't really up to par with the S10. The S10 is just more superior pretty much in every single way. Yes, the A50 is just a little bit bigger, but it's kind of, misleading in a way because you think bigger is better, but in this case, it's not always the case. The S10 feels more superior. It is more superior. The cameras are better. Its performance is better in my opinion, but I still don't want to knock the A50 too much. The A50, if the S10 was a 10 out of 10, the A50 is probably like a 7.5 out of 10. It can do, for the most part, mostly everything. You just don't have some of those gimmicky features like reverse wireless charging or anything. You do kind of miss out on a couple of things at the end of the day, but it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. And in reality, if you have unlimited money to spend, the S10 is the way to go. But the A50, if you're on a budget, it's not that bad of a deal in my opinion. So that pretty much covers it. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button. Oh, if you guys want to pick up an A50, I'll find the cheapest one on Amazon and link it down in the description, an unlocked one. As well as the S10, I'll find the cheapest S10 on Amazon and do the same exact thing. So as I said, comments in the comment section. What do you guys think? Hit the like button, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.